All right, welcome back to the TCI studio. Bengals Will here. Robert
You
here.
gonna go? Don't you dare say the other one.
Yes.
The next one.
Guess what's next video? We are live from the Bengals studio. TCI studio. We're gonna break down Pro Day. We're not gonna break it down from Will's Bengals standpoint. We're gonna break it down from the Clemson standpoint. Exactly. This is for UT and for T's mom, who's always retweeting us. All right, Will, Thursday, big day for several Tigers that are getting ready to try to make their next step up to the NFL. We had different coverage this year. Usually we're there watching from the daggum crow's nest. And this year, because of the COVID stuff, they made us stay home and watch it. But we could see a lot of the interaction. Will's already going to tell you that the Steeler head coach was there, so I'm going to just go ahead and cut that off now. Travis Etienne.
Yes.
Had to help himself with those back-to-back 40 times, don't you think?
I think so. Officially ran a 4.41 and a 4.1 something. So basically
Not a 4.1 something.
He ran a 4.11. So he
Not a 4.11. He ran a 4.41.
4.41. Sorry, my bad.
4.11. He really would have helped himself.
Yes, 4.11. He's a top 10 pick. My bad. My brain wasn't working there. 4.41. A very good time. If his time would have been second at last year's NFL Combine. That's what they said. So that's how fast he ran. So just so you can get an idea of what that time really was and what it means. And he did it after he gained 15 pounds onto his frame. And I'm sure the reason he did that, a lot of people are like, why did he do that? I'm sure the reason he did that is because he's going to lose it once he gets into camp and all that stuff, and he's going to get down to that weight where he really wants to be, which is between 208 and 209, stuff like that.
I don't know if the weight's an issue. We heard different views on that. Some people were saying, oh, he's going to have to lose weight, and other folks were saying he put that extra muscle on, and then when you get to the NFL, that weight between the waist on down is what you want to be able to. And, Travis didn't carry the ball 25 times at Clemson, so he's got to be prepared to be a little bit different Travis when he hits the NFL.
That's a good point. And so, you heard both sides of it. I'm with you. I don't really think it's that big of a deal either
Obviously
way.
not if he ran a 4.41.
No, he's pretty fast.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the running backs in the NFL, they're around that 210 to 215 range that he's at. So I think he's fine there. I don't think he needs to get any bigger, and I think his trainer will make sure he doesn't. But I thought he helped himself yesterday even more. I think he solidified himself as a first-round pick. A lot of guys are saying he's somewhere between that 18 to 32 range. They think he's going to fall somewhere in there. Most guys got him being the first running back off, at least no worse than the second running back off. So I think he's going to be first round. And it's just a matter of what the needs of those teams are as they go through. See, that's the thing with the draft. You never know what happens because somebody takes somebody at the start of the draft that nobody expected, and then there's a domino effect. So, but I think Travis is solidified right there somewhere in those 14 spots as they get down toward the bottom of that first round.
Will and I argue about this every year. The truth is,
nobody knows.
It's a billion-dollar industry. Those teams aren't telling anybody. They're not telling the ESPN guys. They're not telling the NFL Network guys. They're not telling anybody who they're going to pick or who they might pick. So
because that would be
it's
stupid.
all a guessing game. It would be a stupid thing to do in a billion-dollar business. Amari Rodgers, another guy that I thought helped himself. One of the coolest thing I saw was him out there fielding punts with a ball in one hand and trying to catch the punt with the other hand. So just doing things. But he ran a good mid 4.4s.
Yeah, 4.5. So he's right where he needs to be. That's what he wanted to do, was show that he had that kind of speed. And so that's where his official time was. And I think that was good because I think Amari, in everything, one thing we got to do after Pro Day was talk to Daniel Jeremiah, the NFL Network, who's a former scout and front office person in the NFL. One of the things he said about Amari Rodgers that he likes, he thinks he's a second-day guy, could even be second round, because he has that ability to not only catch the ball, but then his ability to make plays after the catch. He says that's what makes him so appealing to NFL teams when he's talked to GMs and stuff about Amari Rodgers. That they really like the fact that he can get the ball in space and that he can break tackles. And they say he's like a running back playing wide receiver.
Well, speaking of which, one of the big things that came out of Thursday was they actually lined him up in the backfield. And everybody's like, oh, why are they doing that? And Amari talked to us afterwards and said, hey, one of the teams had come to him that day and said, hey, we'd like to see what you look like coming out of the backfield catching the ball, because we can put you in the backfield, get you a different matchup when you're coming out of the backfield. So that had everybody buzzing Thursday as well.
And that team was the Miami Dolphins, and their running backs coach was the guy running the running back drills. And so he's the one that came to Amari and said, hey, look, like you said, we want you to see what you can do here. And if you've noticed, anybody watches the NFL, like I saw it, the Steelers did it a few times this year with Ray McCloud. They would bring him, like they would go empty set, and then they take Ray and they put him in the backfield like he's the running ball, and he ran the ball a few times out of that set, like a running back.
Was that against the Bengals?
That was he did that a couple times.
That's why we'll know.
So anyway, but I saw that not only the Steelers do it, but I saw other teams do it as well. And so you're starting to see that more. And then here's a cat in Amari Rodgers who played running back all the way up till junior year of high school. He's got the frame of a running back. Why not try it? Because you could get 2 and 1.
I thought it was great. And Amari, Dabo's told us for a couple of years now that the word he used for Amari is he's already a pro. He's just a pro. He's pro off everything he does. So teams are going to love him. His dad's now in the NFL with one of Will's favorite teams, the Ravens. So there was some buzz about maybe whether he would end up with Dad.
Well, that'd be cool.
He's never played with Dad.
That would be
at
cool.
the college level or the high school level. So that would be kind of different for him.
Even though it would be the Ravens, that would be cool.
Be good for Kayla. There you go, Kayla. All right, Cornell Powell. Cornell had a chance to impress the scouts on Trevor Lawrence's pro day, and then he had a chance yesterday to do the full combine activities.
Yeah, and I think he got what he wanted. He also showed he's pretty darn fast, as we already knew, but he ran a 4.5 as well, and that showed the guys a lot. The NFL guys like that. They're like, okay, here's a guy who can play the field or the boundary, and he can burn, he can go past guys, and that's important in the NFL. Speed is everything. And so that was really important for him to show that he can be that fast and be that kind of receiver. The only thing with a lot of the people are saying about him that they worry is he's only done it for 1 year, so they really only got 1 year of tape on him. So they want to see if he can consistently. So that's the only thing. Like you got Amari sitting up here in day 2, right? And I think if Cornell played 1 more year where he was, playing like he did this past year, then I think he would be up there. I really do. And don't be surprised if you see a team take a chance with him. Because he's a guy that sometimes a team, like the Oakland Raiders used to do back in the day, you take a chance with a guy like that. You say, you know what, he showed some things. He fits this need.
Carolina Panthers, go for it. Go ahead.
Yeah, why not?
Up a little bit.
Just get him instead of getting him in the 4th and 5th round, maybe they get him on day 2 and he gets there in the low 3rd round. But I think if you get Cornell Powell, if you look at his body type, Cornell, he showed yesterday.
Well, that's what everybody talked
strong.
about.
He looked good.
Like a linebacker.
He did. He looked very strong, and so that NFL scouts like that. They like the way he runs routes. He's a very clean route runner, and so when he did the cone drills, he scored well on those. So very good pro day for Cornell Powell. He definitely solidified himself being drafted. It's just a matter of what team do they take a chance early in the draft?
4th round to the Carolina Panthers.
There you go. Did they take it 3rd round or 4th round? And as former players have told us, the difference between those 2 rounds is first 3 rounds, it's more of an investment. 4th round is where they kind of if they're kind of on the borderline with the guy, that's where they go in the 4th round.
Yep. All right, Jackson Carman, another guy that was at the combine but didn't do anything at the combine. We found out later why. Jackson didn't want to talk about it, but Jackson did talk to us, which I thought was kind of nice. After the combine, he didn't need to do that. He said he's heard from all the 32 NFL teams and got, mutual interest. But we found out later, I think it was on your call, what the reason was for why Jackson did not work out yet.
Right. NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah told the reporters that were on his call with him that Jackson Carman injured his back during the season. Now, he didn't say when he injured it, but he said he injured his back during the season, and that when the season was over, then he got it fixed, and he's kind of recovering from that now. So what Jackson did tell us in his interview that he's going to work out for NFL teams in April in a private workout, and that's going to be closer to the draft, so that'll be good. So Jeremiah was saying if he shows well, right, in that draft, in that workout, then he thinks he's a day 2 guy. And that's good for Jackson Carman if he's a day 2 guy. And then I asked him, okay, do NFL teams move him to tackle, to guard, or do they move him the other way around? Or does he play more guard? And he says he thinks he's going to come in and he's going to get the opportunity to show what he can do at tackle. But he says he really likes him at guard too, especially with him losing that weight. He checked in at 317 pounds yesterday. He had been below 330 his entire career at Clemson. That's Daniel Jeremiah says the scouts were very impressed with how Jackson Carman came into the workouts yesterday.
Well, you see the food they tweet every day, what they eat over there. So
yeah, at Clemson they eat well.
They eat almost as good as Eric McLean, who did happen to get a little plug in yesterday during that when he was talking to CJ for the grill that he used. I thought that was interesting. We see you, Eric, out there. JC Chalk also worked out.
Yeah.
Trying to impress some folks with his all-around capabilities there at tight end.
Yeah, he's just, JC's not going to be drafted. We know that, but he could get a free agent, a non-drafted free agent contract deal. So that's kind of, I think he showed a little bit yesterday. JC's a guy where he's just a tough worker. He works hard. He's got skills, but, he's not going to be the guy that's going to go in and catch, 35, 40 balls for you at the tight end position. But what he is going to be is that H-back kind of guy. He's going to get down and dirty with you and going to block on goal line. And there's a need for that. He's also a special teams kind of guy that's going to go down and try to make tackles, get dirty there. So there's a place for a guy like J.C. Chalk. And, hey, if you get in there and you get with the right team, that's all you need. Squad,
maybe make it and then move on up the next year.
Yeah.
All right, those are the guys from this year's team that were there for Pro Day. We had 2 other guys, Adam Choice, DeAndre Overton, also worked out. They're just looking for a chance is what they're looking for. So that's kind of a recap of what we saw on Thursday, Clemson's Pro Day. It would have been obviously a much different Pro Day had Trevor been there as well and not done his early before the surgery. So we've got a ton more coming your way. Stay tuned to the Clemson Insider. We got the most complete coverage of Clemson football and recruiting.